Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome to my channel. I'm gonna be turned a little bit over this way because I have a TV over here. I ended up seeing this video. I think I saw the Afterlife by CelinaSpookyBoo. Celina, girl. First off, to you, Celina and Adam, congratulations on the baby. Very exciting news. Hi, editing Katie here. I just wanted to mention real quick before the video really gets going. I am fighting off a cold, so I'm sorry for, for one, not sounding that great and a couple of like pauses and stuff. Scamp just knocked over some stuff. This video is extremely choppy because this topic is so emotionally charged for me. I have to take breaks. Otherwise my brain gets really like flustered and I get really stressed out. So I apologize for that. But otherwise, besides the intro here, I'm gonna try not to like do any edits or anything. Like I legit just put in each time. Scamp has a sticker stuck on his lip. Oh, okay, he got it. All right, this is just cats. Aren't they so cute? Side note, I also have a cat rescue channel that I do. But so I basically, every time that I recorded something, I just added it in there. I didn't do any transitions or anything like that. So thank you for watching. So really quick, I love the fact that Adam, your husband, is with you and has experienced this stuff with you. My partner, Nick, as well, experienced this sort of stuff. Really quick backstory. I was born with hip dysplasia, which is a congenital deformity where your hip is popped out of the socket. And they had to pop it back in, and unfortunately because I was in a I was born at a learning hospital, they did that multiple times. So I think that I kind of had a little bit more of a traumatic birth. I'm watching your video and responding as I go. So I'm a little scattered because for one, I'm really excited. Like, it's nice to have other people who have really experienced it and shared their story. My boyfriend's sister, Nick's sister, also experienced something like this. She personally called it a Kundalini awakening, and I'm, with what I say in this video, just take it or leave it. Again, spiritual and paranormal stuff I feel like is very personalized, and the English language is so hard to like really explain things fully because everyone has different understandings and beliefs of stuff. So if it resonates with you, cool. If it doesn't, that's okay too. And throughout this video, this is a response to CelinaSpookyBoo's video, but I also just figured anyone else who had experienced this, I'm talking to you as well. So, yeah. But back real quick to the point. So because of that pain, that deformity, I ended up having really bad pain growing up at, like, pubescent, like becoming an adult or whatever. So I had hip surgery at 18 because I was just in so much pain. That was my first experience, like what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm just so giddy, and it's a lot here. I have a lot, and I've been wanting to get this off my chest and recorded and posted for so long, and I haven't because of family members that I know who will be like, you're crazy. I legit, with like the most life-changing one that I experienced, that is a Kundalini awakening kind of thing, I had written, and it was in 2018, and anyways, I remember writing in my journal I have here, and it was literally saying, am I crazy? just okay, just a second. But like Adam had said, how can you make this up? You know, like, this is my experience, and I've had so many, unfortunately, like, fortunately and unfortunately. It has definitely been like lessons learned. We'll get into that. Okay, so I paused it while I watched your experience at the dentist. I don't like the dentist either. Ew, no. Very painful. So for me, I had my hip surgery when I was 18, like I was saying. What happened is I was in so much chronic pain to the point I couldn't sit, I couldn't lay. So it was on this side, this hip. I couldn't lay even on this side without being in such severe pain. I was constantly moving. I barely slept, barely ate. It was probably one of the worst pains I've ever felt. And this is hard to talk about. It was the first time that I had thought of, you know, really, really, really dark things, because it was so unbearably painful. Anyways, had my surgery. I got put under. I don't remember. I remember they put an epidural in my back, basically, and I was getting anxious, starting to get anxious, because they had done like an IV in my hand, and they were about to do the epidural in my back, and I didn't want to feel it. I don't know if they put something in here. They had to have. Or I was just so scared I passed out. Could have been that. But I do remember sitting on the table, and at one point I do remember counting backwards from, 100, and I got to like 93. But I honestly feel like that was after they had put the epidural in. So maybe I passed out and then woke up when they did the anesthesia. That's probably what happened. And then I, for the longest time, thought that I woke up on the table. I don't think that's actually what happened. I think I had an out-of-body experience, and it would make sense because I saw like myself and the room, and I remember seeing, a lot of, blood on like the side, and like the blue, what do you call it? Like blankets and stuff. And I did not look at my face, which is probably why I thought that I was awake on the table. And I remember like two separate visions, like being in my body and like just seeing a lot of blue. Okay. And then another one, and when I'm laying down, I saw like a grate in front of me, like the room had like a vent, I mean. And then Fox is looking at me like, it's okay, Mom. And the other vision was being above and like seeing like on the side, the blood on the side and stuff. And it smelled like onion rings. Okay? That was like a real random thing that was going on. And I found out that actually the cafeteria was the floor above the surgery room. So I think maybe they were cooking something. I doubt they make onion rings at hospitals, but I don't know. And it was coming through the vent. Which I feel bad for the doctors because it's a long surgery and I would assume that made them hungry. So for the longest time I thought that I woke up on the table because I actually woke up 3 hours earlier than I was supposed to the first time after anesthesia. And I remember, coming out of it and seeing my parents. Well, actually there was this woman. I think it might have been a ghost, or maybe it was like my mom, but from an alternate reality. I have no idea. But she was a nurse and she said that her name was Annie, and she was so sweet, and it was like probably the most comforting I've ever could have experienced or expected from coming out of anesthesia. and then my parents came in and I greeted them, and my boyfriend at the time was there and I wanted to see him, and he came in, and then we went up to my room. And I remember the surgeon, my doctor, bursting into the room angry at me, like super upset. And so I assumed I woke up on the table because of things that he said, but I think what it was is that I woke up 3 hours earlier than I was supposed to, and he was like real angry at the anesthesiologist and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so for that one, I don't feel like for me it was a near. I just started recording and one of the cats just knocked something off. Again, the craziness of things happening when I'm trying to record to remind me to have levity about this situation. Legit have no idea what that was. And my boyfriend's brother heard it too and thought it was a cat. I have no idea what it is. I'll find it later, I guess. But so yeah, I don't think that experience was a near-death experience for me. I ended up developing chronic health issues like after that, like more severe chronic health issues, and like in my early 20s. And it peaked around the time that I met my current boyfriend, whom I've been with for quite a while. And I'm laughing and smiling because I'm remembering I gotta have some levity about this situation. It's very hard to talk about because it's a lot of not so fun stuff. Okay, but you mentioned when you woke up from anesthesia that you were having like shaking, like cold, right? When I had my like Kundalini awakening is what I call it, but it's also I think of it as a near-death experience. And that's basically, I haven't looked into Kundalini awakenings, but I'm assuming it's the same thing, the ego death. And I highly recommend actually, there's this girl named Elizabeth April, and she has a YouTube channel. She talks about a lot of paranormal stuff and mentions something about this. She has a book called You're Not Dying, You're Waking Up, or something like this. I really want to get that book, and I don't have it, and I have not read it, but I I think that might be a good one to look into. When I had my Kundalini awakening, though, or near-death experience, whatever you want to call it, I was having so many health problems. I was going to the hospital just about every week, and it was to the point to where they started turning me away. I had a heart attack event. It was not a heart attack, but it was they legit have it on the paperwork, a heart attack event. Hi, okay, so editing Katie. I have a tendency when I get stressed out and anxious that I just say things and basically make small lies. I made a mistake, and I was saying that the paperwork, the medical paperwork from that event at the hospital was a heart attack event. Honestly, I don't remember. I have not looked through the paperwork like super recently. I did like this last summer or whatever. But in my heart of hearts, I feel like it was a heart attack event. It could have been like a panic attack or something, but I've had panic attacks and I've had a lot of experience with panic attacks, and that's why I don't think that it was a panic attack. Anyways, I made a mistake and I just wanted to own up to that. So, yeah. Whatever that means. Honestly, I probably should have sued the hospital for malpractice for some stuff that happened there. It was very, very traumatic. And around that time, this was, I believe, 2017 to 2018. 2018 is when I had the Kundalini awakening, but I think it was towards the end of 2017 that's when I had the heart attack event. And I actually had another near-death experience between the hip surgery and this heart attack event and the Kundalini awakening. I'll get to that in a second. But I had come home, and at one point my boyfriend ended up having to give me CPR in our room. It's hard to talk about, and I have a hard time remembering it too. PTSD can mess with your memory, so I remember bits and pieces of it. But I remember, I think afterwards, really feeling called to take a bath because I was in so much pain. I remember my back just aching. Like, it legit felt like the tendons and muscles and the goopy stuff, like scraping, it felt like, off of my spine around this time. And I just was in so much pain, severe pain. I was also bedridden for 2 years, and it was around this time. So I was very sedentary, which is probably why I was in even more pain. And so I took a bath, and I really felt called to put peppermint oil in the bath. I put too much peppermint oil, and I had the weirdest experience. It seemed sensual in a way at points, which was weird, and really weird to talk about. Sorry, TMI. But it... And I don't remember, like, all of it fully, but I just remember feeling like I died, and I had got a flood of information. And I feel like it is when I became connected to something really important. I don't know if it's God, if it's Source, if it was angels. I don't know if angels are aliens. Yeah. Anyways, I had a voice that popped into my head, that a man's voice, and told me the bill comes due. I think I've finally figured out what it means, but we'll have to see. And part of the flood of information that I got was about what's going on in America right now, politically, which is scary. And there was visions of things that I should do. Yeah. I do feel like afterwards it was... I also got a lot of music. I was listening to YouTube music. I had like a playlist that basically started developing over a couple of weeks around that time. I just felt very guided to listen to these specific songs, and like including while this is happening and stuff. There was... Sorry, I'm trying to remember here because there's a lot. And I don't remember why I brought up the music thing. Anyways, I do... probably just with the flood of information, and part of it was musical for me. And I remember that night coming out, and Nick is in the kitchen, and I'm coming out of the kitchen, and I remember having this odd feeling of like real negativity. So kind of like what you were talking about, how it might have been your shadow self. I'm wondering now if that was my shadow self showing. Because it just felt very negative towards me. And it was so aggressive that so like I'm walking from one end of the kitchen to where he was, which is on the other side of the kitchen, and we had this little bottle, like there used to be these milkshake shaker bottles, and they have like a metal ball whisk, and so you'd put powdered in and your drink of choice, so like milk or water, and shake it up in the bottle. Anyways, the lid was, gosh, I don't even know where. I don't know if it was on a shelf or it was the table, but it flew at my face. And Nick, like, is in that area. And I remember feeling like I did it. Like, I was the one that did it. So that... you mentioning the like shadow self thing like really makes sense to me, and it was like pure anger and rage at myself. I was like, and I think I've been dealing with my shadow self a lot because over the years with the health issues and mental health stuff, yeah, there's been a lot with that. Anyway, at the hospital, you know, after riding the paramedic or the ambulance, yeah, I had mentioned I probably should have sued for malpractice. Basically what happened is I was in so much pain and they didn't believe me, and the nurse actually like did some very not so good things, one of the guy nurses, and I ended up blacking out from the pain of what he did, and I remember like feeling like, oh my god, am I gonna die? And I had previously, a couple years beforehand, tried to end things myself because of how much pain I had been in dealing with chronic health issues. And, you know, went to the hospital, mental health hospital for that, which is good. Anyways, the heart attack event hospital visit, I was feeling like I don't want to die now, like, and it wasn't like on my terms, and I was like, it's not time yet. I didn't do what I came here to do. I know I was supposed to come here for something really important, and I just don't know what it was, and I'm so sorry. Like, if you save me, please save me, God. Like, if you save me, like, I will do whatever you want, kind of thing. And so from that nurse, he basically was jamming a needle into my arm deeper and deeper, yeah. I started blacking out, and I was like feeling like I was dying and stuff, and I remember seeing a like figure, a golden like light figure, and I've taken psychedelics and stuff, and I guess it could be a little similar for sure, and like I've heard of somebody else who was dealing with a near-death experience where it like seemed wet almost, like there was like another alternate reality, or like a wall there. But for me, for that experience, because I was blacking out, I just was seeing like this gold rays, basically, in the shape of a person, and it was walking from one side of the room to the other, right in front of me, between me and one of the other nurses that was there. And I remember wearing my grandma's ring, which one of my aunts had said that she had seen like Jesus or God in it. It was a moonstone ring. And I just remember thinking about that as that was happening. So I don't know if it was like my grandma, for instance, because she had passed away at that time. Or because it's really weird too. I've had a lot of weird spiritual stuff around my birthday. And I think I was 11 or 12. I don't remember which birthday, actually. Maybe I was 8. She had heart surgery, I believe. She had emphysema, and she was going under the knife, whatever. And she ended up passing away on my birthday. And, she died for a moment. And then they brought her back. And ever since, she had said that I was her guardian angel. So I always assumed, and she would get me these little guardian angel pins. I assumed that she, when she passed away, she was one of my guardian angels. So there was that. And that was before the Kundalini awakening thing. So that's interesting when you're talking about how you went into the shower and stuff too. Like, that's interesting that, so like I had that visit at the hospital, right? And I'm wondering if that was a potential near-death experience, and then like I came home, and like later that week, because they basically were like, we're not gonna admit you into the hospital or whatever. And then I had, like, I was at home and I was shutting down basically, and I just stopped breathing. Like, I slumped down against the wall and I stopped breathing, and Nick brought me over to the bed and then gave me CPR and everything. And then after that, I wanted to do the bath because I was just in so much pain, right? I don't know, like, timeline-wise, how quick between those, like, if it was the same day, a couple days, a week, or whatever. There was so much going on, and I was shutting down. But I'm wondering if water, like, I know water can be very spiritually, charged, and I have noticed that it could be potentially, like, my shadow self, for instance, or a negative entity in this house, because this house is a portal. There is so much going on, man. Like, anyways. Yeah, so Nick and his sibling, I don't know if his brother was part of it, but I know his sister and him did a Ouija board when they were kids, and the parents got freaked out and threw it away, so they didn't close it, so this house is a portal. And there are a lot of paranormal stuff here. It honestly reminds me of the Winchester house. When I watched you and Chris and Colby and Sam go through there, like that it's like a train station kind of thing. Anyways, so I've noticed that, like, I feel like there's a negative energy sometimes that tries to latch onto me when I'm having a hard time. That is something I have come to understand from my own experience and research, that negative entities will try to attack you when you're at your weakest. And suck energy off of you. I actually have a picture of what I think is a negative entity sucking life force out of me. It looks like a mosquito. It is so weird. And so when I'm feeling negative or depressed, I notice that, like, if I take a shower, I feel a lot better. You know, the energetic cleansing of that. And so I wonder if the water thing was very important for you to feel like you were able to get back into your body or something. I don't know. But that's interesting. Also, it was really interesting too. So, like, I had the bill comes due voice, right? Okay. And then I also saw, like, on our shower curtain, there's like a number. It was like 609. And ever since, I have been, like, obsessed with angel numbers, and I get messages through angel numbers, and I do feel like that is a way of, God, this is hard to talk about because it's so weird, okay? Around that time too, I was getting messages of the age of Aquarius. Okay, and has to deal with aliens, and basically it kind of reminds me of something really traumatic that happened to me as a kid, so I have a hard time talking about it, but basically it was kind of like, we are here, aliens kind of thing, or entities of some sort, and it was like, and it was aliens. It wasn't entities, it was aliens, which aliens could be, in my opinion, like energetic beings. So if we're in a matrix, I don't know if we're in a matrix or what, but if we are in a matrix, that they're like connected energetically to like angels and aliens, I think, are the same thing. Anyways, Age of Aquarius, that they were going to be coming in, like, communicating with us, and now we've found out last year or the year before that, like, aliens are real with the Congress thing of the United States kind of thing, which makes it easier for me to talk about this stuff as well. And basically it was like, it reminds me of Star Trek, that, like, one law, and Elizabeth April talks about this as well, that they cannot intervene or help us or do anything without following certain rules and restrictions or whatever. And one of them is we have free will. So I have to want communication with them. So, and I have to, like, want to receive help from them. So basically it was like, yes, I ended up telling them and learning about something called, I think it was CE5 meditation from Stephen Greer, and, or C5 meditation, I don't know. So I did that, and I let them know, like, yeah, I'm willing to communicate or whatever, because I was just kind of all over the place with how drastic and traumatic everything was going on, and I was like, let's make it more interesting, I guess. yeah, sure enough, I ended up having a lot of experiences. Anyways, as well, there was a green stone that kind of like called to me around that time, and I ended up finding out that it was emerald. And Archangel Raphael is known for healing people, and he is associated with color green and emerald. And then I also was starting to see a lot of blue light, and Archangel Michael is associated with blue light and protection. And so, I over the years was learning about these energetic beings, and I feel that they communicate with me through the angel numbers. That is like a, I guess like a sorry, Beans is my cat was making biscuits. If you hear that in the background. Yeah, okay, well, whatever I'm in contact with definitely is psychic. I am not psychic, but they've proven to me time and time again that they know what's going on around me and ahead of time. I was, yeah, oh my gosh, it's insane. My boyfriend's mother ended up passing away, but I knew about her, that she was going to pass away about like 3 months beforehand. Our house spiritually was super alive, like really intense, and I knew something was trying to communicate to me, and it just kept saying, "Mom's dead, Mom's dead." Like I'd write text messages and stuff, and like the auto correct or whatever, it would keep saying "Mom's dead." And I was like, and it was nothing close to what I was writing. And it kept doing that and kept doing that. Like after I did a little tiny seance to try and communicate to whatever was trying to communicate to me, and gave me a whole bunch of different messages, and it ended up coming true of what they said. So yeah.